First of all, I wanted to talk to you about or ask you about what the inspiration was. This is the third book of a series. The Christmas Hope is the latest one. And I wanted to know how you got started writing the first one, which was The Christmas Shoes.
The Christmas Shoes came about because I was backstage at a concert of some friends of mine in the group New Song. And I was speaking with Eddie Carswell, who's the founder and the songwriter for the group. And he told me, he was just talking off the cuff, and he said, Donna, I'm thinking about writing a Christmas song. And he told me just the basic premise of it, which was only about, a minute long. And he said, what do you think? Do you think that would make a good Christmas song? And I said, actually, I think that would make a really good book. And so just kind of tongue-in-cheek, he said, well, you better write that since you're the one who writes books, and I can take care of the song end. But he started writing the song at the same time that I was writing the book because I could kind of see these characters in my mind. So he was already hard at work on the song as I was writing the book, so they didn't really coincide with one another. But, of course, he finished the song much sooner than I finished the book. But it's just been really kind of exciting to see how the song turned out as it went number one on the Billboard charts and, of course, how the book did as well.
The Christmas Hope, it's a little bit different from the Christmas Shoes and the Christmas Blessing, and it's told more from a woman's point of view. Is that right?
Yes, the Christmas Hope is from the perspective of Patricia Addison, and she is a social worker with the Department of Family Services. She's responsible for helping children and families, either taking children out of a bad situation and putting them into a foster home, or taking those children back out of the foster home and then being able to go back and put them in their biological home. So it's kind of a very exciting and fulfilling job for someone who is able to work as a social worker. So I wanted to take it from that perspective and also just kind of include the adoption angle through the foster system and kind of how that works, and just blend in the joys and the blessings of adoption, because my husband and I are adoptive parents. So it was just kind of my way of doing it, although our story is completely different as we adopted internationally. Our children are both from China. But I did want to just really shed light on this system that is in place in our country that a lot of people really don't know too much about, and weave that in through this story of Patricia Addison's life. So I hope that the readers of the Christmas Shoes and the Christmas Blessing will like it, because they'll see some characters from the former two books as well.
Was it different for you as a writer to write from a woman's point of view? Obviously, you know a woman's point of view, but it is a departure in terms of the series.
Yes, it is a little bit of a departure in the sense that it is a woman's point of view in this particular book, The Christmas Hope. But I loved it, and it did come a little bit easier for me since I am a woman, and with The Christmas Shoes and The Christmas Blessing, I would always run it by male readers before I would even send it off to my editor or my agent and say, okay, am I getting this right as far as what a man would be thinking here? So The Christmas Hope came a little bit easier because I didn't have to run it by a panel of women first, since I am a woman, but some of it hit really close to home with this particular book. When I actually read the audio version of this book, there were a lot of times where I just had to stop because the tears would be kind of streaming down my face, and I felt sorry for the poor engineer who would just sit there and wait for me to compose myself. But a lot of it is a bit autobiographical here or there. And when I would speak about, adopting children or something in the book, that kind of hit really close to home and was kind of difficult to write parts, but very rewarding for me.
You mentioned having narrated the book for the audio version, and you were an actress before, is that right?
Yes, just kind of regional theater. I found out a long time ago that if I wanted to be a serious actress, that I had to go to New York or California, and those weren't real good options for a homebody who wanted to raise children and plant flowers and shrubs and that sort of thing. But so I just kind of stuck regionally and did regional theater and regional commercials and that sort of thing.
Have you been surprised? The books have just been a huge success, and obviously it must have been very gratifying. But was it a big surprise?
Oh, it's a huge surprise, because as you're writing it, and as a writer, you read your stuff, it could be 100 times that you read it before you ever send it off to someone. And by the time you read it that 50th or that 100th time, you think, no one is ever going to read this, because you just get so close to it that you think, no one's ever going to like this. I am the only person that, is going to get connected with this story. So it is extremely gratifying when that happens, when you see it on the New York Times bestsellers list. And, my agent will call me and say, congratulations, because, I just never know what it's doing. But it's always very exciting, and you just kind of go, well, how'd that happen? I didn't expect that on my end, but it's great, and I just love it. I just love to be able to write, and it was really exciting for me to read this particular story because it is so close to my heart from the adoption angle.
Now, I know you do have children at home. How is it in terms of your writing schedule? How do you combine it? Do you work at home, or do you have to leave home, to work in an office?
It's a mixture of both, usually. When we just had one child, her naps were great, but then when we added the second child, they don't nap at the same time, so it became, a little bit more of a hodgepodge of things. So I am able to stay at home, and I'm just very grateful and thankful for that.
Now, I know there's a TV movie of The Christmas Shoes. Are there any other TV movies planned or coming?
Yes, CBS has made The Christmas Blessing into a movie, and that will actually air this winter. It will air Sunday, December 18th on CBS.
That's pretty exciting.
It is exciting. It's always interesting to watch that process because, I, of course, wrote the books and am familiar with the books, and then when I see it on screen, I think, wow, how'd they come up with that? So the adaptation of both The Christmas Shoes and The Christmas Blessing is quite different from the book, but I do believe that they are movies that families can sit down and watch together.
Are you continuing on with the same series, or are you changing what you're going to be writing?
I have been asked to continue writing Christmas books, and I think for each of the next books that they will focus on a different main character, just like The Christmas Hope focused on a different main character with Patricia Addison in this particular book. And in the next book, there will be a different main character, and in the book after that, there will be a different main character. But I would like to continue to weave the previous characters into the books. That way, I did want each of the books to be a standalone book so that people could pick whatever book up, either The Christmas Blessing or The Christmas Hope, and be able to read it without the pressure of, I have to read the first one first, or else this one isn't going to make any sense. So I really wanted each of the books to make sense on their own without having to go back and try to play catch-up. So that's how I would like each of the next novels to be as well, for them to be standalone books so that you can pick up a book at any time and have it make sense.
And one question we always ask authors that we interview is if you are an audiobooks listener yourself.
Oh, yes. I particularly love them for when I travel is the best time for me. Both my parents and my husband's parents, they live in states that are really far from us. So I love to be able to pop in a book and listen to something that way, because while the girls have their, little toys that are going in the back, or we can pop in a DVD for them, that way I'm able to listen to something as well. I love them. I think they're great.
All right. Well, thank you so much.